Here's a question I thought that I would answer for you today, which is, how do I let go and still manifest what I want? That's a question of the century, isn't it? How do we do that? How do we let go when we're so desperate to get something, or we're feeling like crap and we really want to get that thing that we think is going to make us feel better? So how do we let go? So that's what I'm going to be talking about today in this video. My name is Samantha, and I am a therapist, and I love talking about self-mastery and how to create the life that you want and how to get out of your own way. That is what we're doing. We're in our own way, and we just don't even realize it until we do. And that's what I'm here to kind of talk about, is how to get out of your own way. And I started this channel because I wanted to get over my fear of public speaking and social anxiety and finally become the identity that I've been wanting to become for years. And so I'm doing a video every day for a whole year, and this is video 59. And I've made a video literally every day for 59 days. And if you're new here, feel free to go back and check out my other 58 videos. There's a lot of content. And it's crazy, but I hope that it's helping people. It's definitely helping me get out of my shell a little more and actually articulate what I'm trying to get out to people and help them more. Being a therapist, you're kind of in this little box. And so when I learned more about spirituality and combine that with psychology and neuroscience and quantum physics, that's kind of what I'm wanting to do on this channel, or this show. We can call it my show now, I guess. This is my show. So that's what I like to do, is combine all of those because I think that it's just so fun. All the information is so cool, and it's not really talked about in length anywhere except for, I've seen it on YouTube, but I haven't really seen it talked about except on social media. So there's books and there's all kinds of things, but combining all of it, I think, is a really great thing to do, because there's so much information that is just like life-changing and transformational. So yeah, how do I, how do I let go and still manifest what I want? And I was talking to a client about this today in a way. They were really in their own way. And what I mean by that is, it's like whatever you're assuming is going to show up in your life. It's going to reflect back like a mirror. So if you're frowning at a mirror and you're wanting it to smile, that's not going to happen, is it? You got to smile first. So remember that you have to change first. You have to smile first, and then the reflection will reflect back a smile. That's what we want, is the smile, not the frown. So a lot of times we get a frown back, and we wonder, well, I've been smiling. Why am I getting a frown back? And so a lot of times underneath the trying and underneath the exhaustion that we're feeling from trying to get something or trying to change something, we have these underlying assumptions or these underlying inner conversations. So an inner conversation is just literally you're talking to yourself, or you're thinking about something like, man, that must be nice that they have that, or that must be nice to live like that, or man, traffic sucks today. I bet that person's gonna cut me off, and sure enough, they do. Always happens when you're assuming. And so it's like you're thinking the same thoughts that you were thinking yesterday. 95% of them, around 95%, is what you were thinking yesterday. So that's why a lot of people report that they're stuck, because they truly are stuck, because they're thinking the same way that they thought yesterday. So in order to change the identity, we have to stop identifying with what's in our awareness. I caught myself doing this today. I was thinking about something, and I was like, man, I wonder why this is the way it is. I wonder why this is the way it is, this particular thing. And then I said, it's because it's in your awareness. And I had this written down. I have a lot of notes, and to keep my brain focused, I just read them off of different things. So please that's my process. Please give me grace, because it's like so much that I just get so excited and I like to stay on track. So it's the only reason you believe something is because you're conscious. and identifying yourself as this. So if you have something in your awareness, you're conscious of it. So it's got to be there because you're aware of it. It's right there only because you're aware of it. And you're identifying as that or with that. So in order to do that, you have to drop the awareness of that and put your awareness on something else. That is I would say, the number one hardest thing for us to do, because we are so addicted to seeing what we see and saying, no, this is true. I see this is true. And while that is valid, that is true in front of you, you're aware of that being true. So what if in that moment you say, no, I'm going to put my awareness on something else. And Esther Hicks, there was an older video that I remember she used to talk about how they had a client call in to the office or something, talking about some big problem, and they told her to think about blue glass and butterflies and feathers or something like that. And the lady was like, I don't want to do that, and like hung up the phone. But Esther, having said blue glass, butterflies, and feathers, she started thinking about those things, and she saw all three of those things show up in her reality a little bit later. And so when I heard that so long ago, I didn't really know as much about neuroscience and about, law of assumption and all of that stuff just yet. But I was just learning about law of attraction at that point. And I was just curious about that. And we do that on a daily basis. I mean, we do that all day long. We are actually imagining something all day long, and then it shows up. And so, but that was a perfect example of her being aware of something in her mind, and then it showed up physically. She had no resistance to it and no real reason for it to show up. She just thought about it, and then it showed up. And that is literally how powerful we are. We can do that all the time, and we do actually do that all the time. It's just we don't realize we're doing it. So that's what I love to teach about, is like deliberately drop your awareness on, you've got your two lives. You've got the life you're living right now that is right in front of you. And then you've got your second life, the identity that you want to become, which is like your 2.0 you. And so you're noticing and living in this life, yes. But if you drop the emotion that is attached to that, that's like the detachment that people talk about. It's just kind of like, you just kind of let go of that emotion instead of reacting to what's going on. You can respond to it and say, well, okay, this event is technically neutral. It doesn't have a meaning until I give it a meaning. I don't care what anybody else says about it. You get to decide what you think about it. And even if you've thought a certain way about it before, maybe today's the day that you decide to change that, because this is all for you. This work is for you, all for you. So you get to decide, am I going to think the same way? Am I going to take that red pill or the blue pill? Which one am I going to take? You get to decide. And so maybe you've been saying that this sucks all your life, but today you're like, no, I'm actually going to decide that this doesn't suck. And I'm going to take the wisdom out of it, and then I'm going to put my awareness over here. And you literally turn that way and you say, this is my 2.0 life. Literally, you might physically have to do that. You're standing and you're looking at it, and you just have this come to Jesus talk with yourself, and then you turn your body, you say, nope, my vision is over here. This is where I choose to focus now. And then that is what will be in your awareness, instead of what is actually, quote, true in your life right now that has manifested physically. It's right here. It might be yelling at you right now. It might be your kid yelling at you, or your dog barking at you, or whatever it is. That's showing up. Yes, valid. But drop the awareness of it, bring it over here, and that's where your power lies. And you do that so much, it's going to start coming to life. It's going to start showing you in the mirror. You're going to start seeing a different reflection over here. Think about two mirrors. You can't argue with a mirror. You got to change the reflection. You've got to change the person that's being reflected. So think of it that way. You can't, when I heard somebody say that, like, don't argue with the mirror, whatever's showing up, don't argue with it, because you created it from your imagination in the first place. So why would we argue with it? Why would we spend our precious time on petty things when you're wanting to become this brand new identity? You want to take all your energy that you would have focused on things that are just from the past, really. They're just past thoughts that manifested and created this visual representation of them. And why would we want to waste our precious energy on that when we can take that power transmute it, whatever the emotion is, we can transmute it and create our new identity. So there's that to keep in mind. And then there's also this too. Your life is the physical manifestation of the conversations in your head. I thought that was good too. Oh, your life is a physical manifestation of the conversations in your head. So watch what you're saying to yourself. Watch all the things. It's very sneaky. It's like when you tell yourself, like I asked a client today about, do you think you're intelligent? We were exploring intelligence. Like, do you think you're intelligent? Well, yeah, at my job, I know I am, but in, maybe in other areas I'm not. That means that you don't fully identify as being intelligent. And that's my point. It's so sneaky. It's like you might think you are in one area, but you aren't in another. And so that's a contradiction. And so that is part of your self-concept. If you're identifying with, like whatever you're identifying with, that is your self-concept. That is what you are assuming about yourself. So you have to start saying, no, I am this. I am this. I am this. Not giving any stipulation. Well, I am this or I am that. Because if you're justifying something, that's another thing that takes our energy down. Just like complaining, it's like when we're justifying things too. Well, or we're defending things. But justification is a big one that's kind of like very subtle. We're addicted to justifying. We're like, well, I've gotta tell why I decided this, or I gotta give somebody the why to tell, give the justification for it. There's no need to spend energy on that. There really is not any need for it. You just have to decide that this is who I want to become, and these thoughts that I've had for my whole life are not getting me there. So I've got to drop the awareness. I've got to let go and surrender, detach. And this is a process. And so I highly recommend deep breathing practices, which someday I may do a video on just deep breathing in itself. Meditation, you want to slow your mind down as much as possible. You can do that with a guided meditation. You can do that with one of mine that's on my channel. I've got a few on there. I think I have 10 or 11 of them now. Pick one that you like. There's a bunch. They've got EMDR, bilateral movement sounds on them, but I'm going to start putting up some that don't have the EMDR back and forth. Some people might like those better sometimes. Or you can just sit in silence and just kind of be the observer of your thoughts that come in. That's really interesting to do that and just like ask for guidance and see what thoughts come in. It's very fun to do that too. But breathing and meditation, you're wanting to slow your mind down so you can kind of connect with your higher self more and infinite intelligence, because it is ready to give you what you want. It knows everything. We as humans do not know diddly squat. We know nothing. We just think we know so much because we're used to the way we think. And it just isn't serving us. And I implore you to really look at yourself and say, are my thoughts hurting me or are they serving me? You want to be served by your thoughts. You don't want to be hurt by them. You've already been hurt in your life. You don't need to be hurt anymore. Why are you hurting yourself with your thoughts? You don't need to do that anymore. We do not need to do that. We need to make ourselves healthy and well, wise and wealthy. That would be great. So that's what we want to do. And if you have your health, by the way, you are wealthy. Remember that. And one more thing I'll leave you guys with is when you're very desperate to manifest, or when you're in pain, or mentally or physically, or you're just devastated, or you're just spiraling and you're in despair. Those feelings are very real, and you want to feel them. And you want to ask, where did this feeling come from? What am I buying into that would be true about me? That I'm actually like believing that I need to feel this way right now. Ask yourself these questions. And what am I afraid of happening if I were to change my thought about this? What would happen? What am I so afraid of? And kind of ask yourself these questions, and we'll dig deeper into this some other day too. But something that first comes to mind is whenever you're that low, always look around you and start getting into the energy of appreciation. What do you appreciate? Gratitude and appreciation. Appreciation is actually higher on the emotional scale than gratitude is. Gratitude is highly studied, but I don't know if appreciation is that studied. I know there's a book that I've read on appreciation, but that's actually at the top of the emotional scale, and is just as powerful as love is. And so when you get into appreciation and you just start looking around and you say, and I start with my body. I've always done this. Like, I am so thankful I have eyes to see, and I have glasses to help me see, and I have ears to hear, and I can taste my food again, because after COVID, I couldn't taste for like 3 years. My taste was like way off, and everything that was a milk product tasted like perfume. It was so weird. And then it finally started coming back after about 3 years. So I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful that I can walk. And I'm thankful even if you're overweight and you're like, I hate my body, be thankful that you can walk, you're alive, you can breathe. Think about when you can't breathe. I was choking on something the other day, and on water or something. It just went totally down wrong, and I couldn't breathe for a minute. Like, for a good, I would say about 30 seconds, I could not breathe, like hardly at all. And I was legitimately choking. And I was like, oh my God. And I was just thinking like, wow, thank God for this breath coming in after that happened, because without breath, you have nothing, literally. So really focus on your breath. Be appreciative of the oxygen that's around you. There's an abundance of oxygen. You have an abundance of so many things in your body. Your body is regenerating every second. It has intelligence. All the cells have intelligence. They know what to do. Be thankful for that. Be thankful for the sun that shines and keeps us alive, and the rain that happens and waters all our plants. And just it's getting into appreciation of things that if you lost them, how would your life be if you lost them? So look around your entire house and be like, what would happen if I lost the most important things that I use on a daily basis? And sometimes we take them for granted. In fact, we always take them for granted, I would say. We hardly ever are just like, we don't notice things until they're gone. We don't appreciate anything. It's like with people too. So start appreciating the people in your life too, because that's a big thing, and that's a big deal. We've got to nurture ourselves and appreciate yourself too. That's the other thing. Because remember, what you appreciate appreciates. It grows. So you got to appreciate yourself, because you're growing every day, and you're learning every day, and you're worth growing and learning every day. You're worth getting better every day. So just keep at this, and I'll be back for video 60 tomorrow, another milestone. So excited. Thank you all for listening and watching, and for your likes and shares and subscribes. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe. I've got a video every day. We're coming up on 65 in a few days, so I've got 300 more to do. So somebody might like something that I'm putting out there, in some video. So I hope you guys are enjoying it, and I hope it's helping you in some way. And again, if you have any suggestions for videos, let me know. I always am open to all kinds of things, so just let me know. And thank you again for listening. And I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.